This is your 2 News Oklahoma Fantasy Football Forecast.
No Caden today. He is off doing high school football championship stuff. You can check that out on Channel 2 somewhere sometime, I assume this week, perhaps. I'm out of the loop. I don't know when these things happen anymore.
So if, our listeners may or may not know this, but Caden truly is one of the hardest workers in this whole entire building. The guy's always working.
Yes. It seems like, especially I remember last year when, before the very great Dan Lindblad got here, Caden was really doing double duty, working, nonstop during the football season that year. So, kudos to him, but not here to talk about what's important,
Which I'm a little surprised because, he's close to trying to get in the playoffs.
He's on the fringe.
Yeah. So, and so are you and I. And we play each other this week. That's
right. We have a big game between you and I this week. We're both sitting at 6-6. So we've got 3 teams in our league who've clinched playoff spots. Obviously, Annie Brown has clinched the number 1 seed. Right. She is a 10-2 record, far above everyone else. Like I said, you and I sitting at 6-6. Caden sitting at 6-6 as well. He plays Michael Sager, I believe, this week. Who also has a fringe shot if things fall a certain way. Michael Sager could also find himself in the playoffs.
According to Fantasy Pros, you have a 51% shot of making the playoffs. I'm at 58%, and you're actually at the top 6. So you're fighting against Myco Psychos, which is a little concerning of his name, but and Caden. And Scott's Tots and Beaver Dusters.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I started hot. I was 4-0 to start the season.
Yeah.
And everybody got hurt and plummeted to 6-6, where I am now.
So it's weird that you say that, because in my other league, I was 5-1. Justin Jefferson got hurt.
Yep.
Hit
that week 5, week 6, and it was just.
Yeah, and I've lost 6 games in a row since then.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I find that interesting that you had that same issue as well.
Yeah.
Was Justin Jefferson that much of a game changer?
He's worth 2 guys most weeks.
That makes sense.
He's worth 2 guys full output. Like 20 some points, whatever it is per week. And like I have McCaffrey, that's the rest. That's all I got.
Right. Which I'm concerned about McCaffrey this week. I think he's going to go off against the Eagles, unfortunately. Again,
and they've had a good run defense this year, but yes, I agree. It's one of those things. And the Eagles have this weird thing where they seem to start really slow.
Mm-hmm.
Their first half,
I know.
Their first halves are very slow, and then all of a sudden, it's like it's a whole different team the second half.
Well, I watched them in person last week against the Chiefs, and I totally agree with that. In the beginning first half, I thought, this game's over, 17-7, it's over. Yeah. They've lost. Mm-hmm. They're not going to come back against the Chiefs at home.
Sure, yeah. In Kansas City against Mahomes, you don't come back from that.
And then it's like something lit, and they were totally different. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Something, I don't know if it's the play calling difference, if it's like if they're not coming out prepared but just adjust really well. I don't know what it is there, but Hurts has certainly been, especially this last week against Buffalo, like he was on his game.
Which is pretty amazing because at the Chiefs game, I don't think the broadcast did it justice, but it was really raining and it was really windy. Yeah. And I was wondering, how is anybody catching these balls?
Right.
That's just me out in the backyard. I barely can catch.
Well, and of course, it comes down to like when Jake Elliott makes a near 60-yarder in the pouring rain. It's just football. It's just football. Football's happening.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and that's one of the ththings I was kind of wondering about, like going forward, because now we're going to kind of start looking toward. There are a lot of people who are just straight up looking towards next season, who are totally out of it, and looking towards some of the things like when it comes to keeper leagues or like even like just for planning for drafts next year with picks and everything. Would you like? There've been a lot of different sort of quarterback tier movement this year. We talked about Josh Allen a little bit our last show, how he's kind of moving down those tiers a little bit. We've talked about a lot about Trevor Lawrence in the past, where he really fluctuates up and down. It'd be tough for me not to put Jalen Hurts in that sort of that QB1 like absolutely, and he was sort of that coming into this year points wise,
Mhm.
but like as far as his overall performance, like I would compared to Mahomes this year, I'd rather have Hurts than Mahomes.
I agree.
Um,
But here, I think this is a good time if you're in a dynasty league and you're kind of out like me. I'm out in my other league, boo-hoo. But what I start doing is I go find the players that nobody's thinking about. Like I just picked up Jaren Hall for the Vikings yesterday,
sure.
thinking Dubs, we know what he is.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been on fire, but if you get hurt, Jaren Hall looked pretty electric out in the field for that one quarter a couple weeks ago, and I thought, man,
Well, and, and Dobbs today after what happened last night with Dobbs having four
Yeah.
turnovers, they weren't really necessarily committal toward him going even toward their next game.
yes.
So it could very easily these last few games of the season be the Jaren Hall show, depending on how practice goes and how they feel about Dobbs moving forward.
And I'm all for that because there was something electric about him that I liked.
Sure.
So I say that because last year I went and picked up Jordan Love, and
Yep.
nobody wanted him because Aaron Rodgers was still there.
You hadn't seen anything out
You
of
hadn't seen anything, but you go grab him, you hold on to him. Off season can do wonders.
Yeah.
It can change perspectives on a lot of
Mhm.
people. So you go pick up those potential future changes. You go pick up free agents that are going to be next year because they could be in a totally different system. New team could be the number one guy, and you get a free bingo space by just picking these people up.
And you
So
can
that's
also-
kind of my
Yeah,
philosophy.
you can also look out for some of those guys. Like some team owners or fantasy managers, they get sort of flustered when a guy gets hurt.
Sure.
And they don't keep him in their IR. They just drop him.
Yep.
And
Big
you-
Mike Williams.
Right. You
Go
could
pick him up.
Yep, you could very easily, if you're, you keep your league, you're going to have a lot of the picks of those same guys next year.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, right. You pick up those same guys who people like week 3 or 2 or whatever it was that they got hurt for the year.
Nick Chubb.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And have them, and then you'll have them going into next season when they'd presumably be healthy, and it'd be a lot better pick than or a lot better player to have than any of those like maybe top 3 or 4 picks that you might have available to you.
Totally agree with you. And that's what you need to be thinking if you're in Dynasty. Now, if you're on the flip side, you're winning. If the trade deadline's passed for many, I know in our league it's coming up this week. You need to make those last minute decisions on, hey, if you have a playoff team and you want to make that push, you got to do it now. This is it.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm a big I would much rather put everything toward, if I really think I have a chance to win this year, I'll put it all towards this year, because that's what it's about.
Sure.
It's not, I'm going to win this year before I'm going to win next year.
Right. Because next year, 4 of your players could get hurt.
Exactly.
You don't
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the thing about fantasy is I don't really believe in the future, even in Dynasty.
Yeah. It's like one of those things set yourself up for the most part, but really you're trying to win every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not trying to build a kingdom over here.
Right.
That's going to collapse
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
I'm not going to get anything out of going 8-6 every year.
Exactly. And to that point, go ahead and get the people that you need now to win. So that's
Absolutely. And one of the tricky parts about this push that we have coming up with, a lot of leagues going into their playoffs here in the next couple weeks, and the NFL, the league itself, heading towards its last few games. I don't remember this many big time teams having bye weeks in the same week this late into the season. We have Baltimore, Buffalo, Chicago, Vegas, Minnesota, and the New York Giants all heading into a bye week this week, which really I know I was thinking in one of my other leagues, I had the likes of I had a Hollywood Brown. He was my number 2 receiver.
Okay.
But I didn't draft receivers very high in that. And I was well, I'm not going to get to, they're off next week. I'm I'm not going to get to my last week before those playoffs or whatever, or into the playoffs and have my receiver on a bye, So
Yeah.
I was that was a big part of my trading
Sure.
mind. I was I'm not going to get all the way down there and have nobody to play.
Exactly. And then lose, and
Right.
then you're out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's forward thinking. That's good.
Yeah. So that, that was one of the moves that I really, it sort of changed how I was operating my team at that point in the year. Which I probably at the beginning of a lot of seasons buy into the bye weeks probably too much. I think too hard about them and end up not drafting better players.
Well, to that, this is funny that someone released the all free agent fantasy team.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but that free agent fantasy team is probably better than my current dynasty team.
Yeah,
I mean, think about it. On the waivers, Stroud was there.
Yep.
Keaton Mitchell, Tank Dell.
Yes.
Who
Man,
I
he's been
luckily
good.
picked up in the,
he's been outstanding.
he's really fun to watch. That whole Texans offense is fun to watch.
Oh yeah, they're super fun. And Stroud really spreads the ball around. Like everybody, gets a little bit of theirs. And it's a shame what happened to Dameon Pierce.
Ooh,
because that was one of those ones, especially like coming into last season, it was one of those that's like, okay, like this could be their running back of the future, and then not so much.
No. Singletary's look solid.
Yeah,
I mean, but then they gave almost 49% of the handoff still to Dameon.
Right.
And it's like, just stick with Singletary. He was working for you.
Yeah. And Stroud's so good, you can tell now that they don't have to rely as heavily on that run game. So one of the other teams that is interesting heading into this offseason, both for them as well as for fantasy players, because the Bengals, one, you're worried about Joe Burrow future going forward. Like this guy, injuries all the time, and it's not like it's always the same thing. So it's not, but you're still like, okay, injury prone is what people say.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that going forward, can you trust that guy on, say, a dynasty team? Ooh. Can you trust Jamar Chase is fairly reliable.
Fairly, but even with Burrow hurt,
yes,
Chase's numbers are down.
Right. And then T. Higgins is a real life free agent heading into this upcoming season. He's been hurt all year.
Yep.
He could come back in these next couple weeks, but he's gonna have Browning throwing to him, and you don't know what that's gonna end up being.
And he's gonna move on. He doesn't want to be the second fiddle to Chase, Yeah. So, and how will that change Chase's dynamic?
Right. Is he gonna have even more attention on him as he's probably had to get used to this season with Higgins being out a lot and again with Burrow being out a lot. So yeah, I think it's one of those like.
But then Justin Jefferson too.
Sure.
Look at the quarterback situation. Do you want Dobbs?
Yeah, I know.
Throwing to you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when it comes to these like top receivers, not a lot of them have like the most reliable like think about the best quarterbacks in the league. Like, yes, Jalen Hurts has AJ Brown, but besides that tandem, there aren't a lot of like the big quarterback wide receiver tandems.
Right. Which I think where we're starting to see Stroud and Nico and Tank develop. What I realized this season the most, and I want the receiver attached to the stud quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I mean, I know that's pretty obvious, but I mean, look at Keenan Allen. He has been the number 2 wide receiver in the NFL.
That's an old man.
Herbert, he's 32 years old, but it doesn't matter because he's got a stud throwing it to him.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's been a really good formula for them, and one that we'll wait and see in both Cincinnati and Minnesota how that shakes out. But it's one that managers in the offseason are going to have to think about, like heading into the next draft. Like, okay, am I going to trust a Burrow? Is this offense, if this entire offense still going to be the same? In Minnesota, I assume they'll pay Justin Jefferson, because he's of course up for his contract. But
and they got to figure that out first. Then they can see how much money they have to pay Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
and that's what the holdup is.
Yes. So that'll be something to watch for going into that offseason. Speaking of Justin Jefferson, they're saying he could be back after the bye, but they're playing it awfully safe.
They did activate him today, so that is a good sign.
Yes. So we'll see if I think
he'll be back.
Yeah, it seems like since the team has been kind of on that edge, and the Lions aren't necessarily pulling away with the NFC North at this point.
The Lions are an enigma.
They
should have lost at home to the Packers.
Yeah,
you can go. They went in Kansas City the first game and won. That's a big win.
Yeah,
so did the Eagles, but
yes, sure.
But then the Detroit looks dominant, and then they lose at home to the Packers.
It's their pass rush cannot get consistent pressure on the quarterback.
Okay,
and that has been their downfall.
Yeah,
because they cannot, when you come to like an actually like precise and like aggressive quarterback, they can't really get any pressure on them, and it's it just opens their secondary up that's already banged up. They lost Like CJ Gardner-Johnson still isn't back. And so they've had a lot of issues with the secondary.
He's an incredible corner because
Yes.
the Eagles, I can't believe we lost him.
Yeah.
But, do you trust Goff as your guy?
So he's been really bad the last couple weeks, obviously.
Yeah.
So the previous game, the Chicago game that they ended up winning regardless of his lack of quality of play, he just straight up played bad, and that was more on him.
Uh-huh.
This last week, the Packers game, he was bad in the first half, no doubt. Like a lot of that was on him. The second half, it was a coaching. It looked like a coaching thing to me. They were just not really
trusting him,
and that you could tell like the offense didn't have any rhythm, and they were in his face. The Packers were in his face constantly.
Sure.
So at that point, and he's really good when it comes to running like the 2-minute offense.
Yes.
Where he's just not really. He doesn't have to think about it that much. It's just bang, bang, bang. And
thinking is not a good thing.
Right, that's right. Yeah. So I think they needed to go to him or go to that sooner. And they probably would have at least made it a little closer there at the end.
But what about the rook that's right behind him?
Hendon Hooker?
Yeah.
He just came off. I think they just got him off of
injured reserve.
Injured reserve,
so he's back there. Is he the future though?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It seemed like more of a flyer pick where it's just like,
Okay.
if the season ends up really bad, then, maybe we can put him in towards the end. Maybe because they're going to have to figure out, here again, over and over, it's going to be, okay, do we keep paying Goff?
Yeah.
Over and over. And it'll just really just depend on how well the team's doing, I would imagine.
Sure.
So we'll see. And, in at home prior to this Packers game, and the Bears game, Goff had been a perfectly viable option, and they have a lot of weapons around him. So it's one of those things I think you live with it for now.
Yeah.
If what's happened the last couple games keeps happening, then you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I think I'm worried about them from like a team perspective as far as like success towards the end of this year. But I'm not super worried about Goff specifically, especially when it comes to his numbers and all that, So other injuries and that sort of thing to look out for. Chris Olave went down with a concussion. You'll have to monitor him, see how he's doing later in the week. Rashid Shaheed also picked up a thigh deal in that one. So the Saints could be a little shorthanded, but both of those will be worth monitoring throughout the week. Like I mentioned earlier, T. Higgins has been banged up. He's got the hamstring deal going on. Like I said, he is in his contract year, so I imagine he wants to come back.
Yeah. But why would he?
Right. But he'll be, regardless of when he comes back or, how he feels, he'll be limited by that quarterback situation no matter what. Baker Mayfield had an ankle deal. His MRI was negative. He'll probably end up playing. Demario Douglas also went down with a concussion. I don't touch those Patriots of any kind with any waiver wire, any roster spot I have. I'm not spending on those guys. Rico Dowdle had the ankle deal that seemed to limit him in this last week, but he could be a little more healthy by this upcoming week. But Pollard seems to have picked it up the last week or two. Then Amari Cooper went down with a rib injury. I'd be worried about him coming into this week, but the week after that, not super worried. And then I have Aaron Jones in my other league, and I'm so sad that I wasted a pretty high pick on him this last week. But he's been dealing with a knee thing, and he'll be, if he practices all week, sure you could flex him, but honestly, I'd be scared of that one. As far as guys to pick up, Pat Freiermuth is back, and that Steelers offense seems to be trying to turn it around. They had the whole deal about everybody getting mad about the offense, and the offensive coordinator gets fired, and Pat Freiermuth comes back and goes 9 for 11 with 120 yards, and he was a great option to have last year, but didn't work out so well to start this year, and he was hurt for a while, and But, if anything, this last week might point toward him picking it up a little bit and being a viable option.
Freiermuth. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been fooled by him before.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, we know him and Pickett work well together. but just the Steelers offense is just so weird.
Yeah.
It's been hard to follow.
It's like the Patriots. I just want to stay away from
yeah,
it.
I just don't really want.
Let them burn 120 passes. I don't
Right.
care. I don't be holding that back.
Yeah.
Hyatt will be interesting.
Yes.
He's a Deshaun Jackson. That's what he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I can see that.
He blows by people so fast, but you're relying on Tommy DeVito or
yes.
whoever that dude is.
Yeah. Yeah, I have enjoyed the Tommy DeVito and the celebration with the Italian hands.
Hey, let's go another touchdown.
And then of course, as Kyler Murray goes, so does Greg Dortch.
Yeah, yeah, and Michael Wilson should be back. So catching fire with Dortch. Whew, if you're in that bad of shape, you're in a Dorchy situation.
That's right. Yeah, it is tough out here for people picking up Greg Dortch, but sometimes you got to do it. I'd mentioned the bye weeks already. Our Sunday night football game this week, Kansas City at Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a pretty good, similar built offenses in this one, where they have like a sort of collection of wide receivers who none of them really want to stand above the others.
Right.
Especially in Kansas City, none of those guys seem to want to take control.
What Jordan Love do we get? I think that's the main question.
Yeah.
Do we get that phenomenal guy we just saw in Detroit?
Yeah.
Who looked all the same. It's funny. Someone posted the same game stats to date compared to Aaron Rodgers to date, and they had the exact same stats.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
didn't see that.
their first 9 games, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the NFL loves to knock people down after a couple of games. Like, oh, this guy sucks. He'll never be anything. And then he goes out and blowtorches a team that he shouldn't have. I think it's still early with Love. This will be a good test for him, though. How has he progressed?
Yeah. And, especially if you can get on a roll, obviously Green Bay's kind of on the fringes of they could come back in this division, especially like we mentioned, the Lions kind of struggling and with the Vikings in their situation with the quarterbacks and everything. They could very easily, get back into that race, but it would have to start now.
Yes.
And so like I mentioned, it'll be interesting to see what happens with those wide receivers. That's why I on our list here for our primetime forecast, I've listed a bunch of them because they just kind of go to anyone at any given time. Christian Watson had a good game this last week. He's tough to trust week after week, but he's their biggest play guy. So it's one of those things. I'll in one of my other leagues that's a little deeper at receiver. I'm starting him. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those. It's either I start him or I pick up a Greg Dortch.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. I mean, I'm playing a guy in my other league, which he's trying to get in the playoffs, but all his receivers are on bye. So
see, it is a busy bye week.
So I'm going to go outbid him on all those receivers.
That's right. Yeah. Keep away. Just play some keep away.
Yeah. Forget you, man, Mr. I could go playoffs.
That's right.
I'll make your life misery because I'm misery as well.
Let's do our primetime forecast.
Dun, 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 dun.
Mike, who do you like or dislike, perhaps?
I am going to go Pacheco higher.
Pacheco higher. He was at 13.9 this morning. Go higher on Pacheco. I'm gonna give him the bounce back game. I'm gonna say higher on Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He had the bad drop this last week. That basically lost them the game.
Which I saw in person. Yeah, that was...
Yeah. We'll see if he can bounce back. I'm going to give him the higher. They had him at 4.6 this morning. So, I mean, he scores. He does better than that.
Where do you get these projections from?
Just ESPN.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just their projections.
I was thinking you're using like bet.com or something.
No. Footballstats.org.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for Mike Collier, I'm Ryan Love. I'll get Caden's pick from him, and we'll see you guys next week.
Woo!